和尚端汤上塔，塔滑汤洒。
Whoa, that's
All right, what up, noob nuts? So today we got SAPO over here. What's going on, SAPO? You want to do a shout out real quick?
What's up, everybody watching out there? Shout out Noobsoft for visiting us out here in LA. It's great to have him here. He's doing a lot of work in Taipei, so this is the guy.
Yay! So, before we start, I like to do a warm up. So I'm gonna ask you a quick series of questions. Don't think about it, just answer. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite song? Don't think about it.
Nothing but a G thing.
All right, good. Favorite movie?
Goodfellas.
Favorite dinosaur?
Velociraptor.
Ooh, okay. Favorite movie by Studio Ghibli?
My Neighbor Totoro.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's on the sky and also gets better.
Favorite character from Slam Dunk?
Oh, man, I don't remember their names anymore. Whoever wore 23.
SAPO actually meant number 11, arguably the best player on the team. So much for originality. Well, I like number 7, because we're the same height. You know, just in case any of you wanted to note that, yeah.
Okay, good. So, anyways, you know tongue twisters, right? Selling seashells by the seashore,
Okay.
right? Now I'm gonna have you do a Chinese tongue twister.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So I'll say slow first. 和尚端汤上塔，塔滑汤洒。
Whoa, that's Hold on. Alright, go.
Okay. 和尚端汤上塔，塔滑汤洒，汤烫塔。
There's no way. Dude. Hold on. Do the beginning again.
和尚端汤
和尚端汤
上塔，
上塔，
塔滑
塔滑
汤洒，
汤洒
汤烫塔。
汤。Oh, I get it now.
You get it right? There's
so
a story.
soup. Oh, okay.
A monk carrying a soup to
Soup
the
and then
tower.
he-
The soup spilled. The soup is hot, so burnt the tower. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just make it a vocabulary lesson because there's no way I'm gonna repeat that.
Okay. 和尚端汤上塔，
和尚端汤上塔，
塔滑
塔滑
汤洒，
汤洒
汤烫塔，
烫烫塔，
汤烫塔。
汤烫塔。
All right. Okay, we're not gonna use that. All right, just kidding. Okay.
Hey, but the pronunciation's on point. That's what matters. I didn't know what it meant completely, but I kind of got the gist of it.
All right, cool. So anyways, so I guess can you talk about how you started this? How did this all start?
I mean, it really just started with me wanting to shoot somebody because I had played paintball before. I stopped playing for a while. I found airsoft, told one of my buddies about it. He told his brother and his roommate. That's the original 4 members. It's me, Roy, Ramon, Lyndon, or Lefty. So that's basically how we got started in airsoft. We started playing at Tac City Airsoft, the original OG North in El Monte.
Okay. So you know that there is some friction between traditional military style and speedsoft right now. Was there any of that when you first started?
I mean, that already existed when I was playing paintball.
Oh, okay.
You know, because I mean, we were playing competitive paintball, obviously, and then there was a whole nother side to the sport, which was scenario, or it wasn't really called milsim. They called it more scenario paintball.
Right.
You know, big game paintball. And we were trying to get away from the military aspect because we wanted to be legitimized as a sport. So there was a little bit of that. But when we first came into airsoft, there was a few people that kind of vibe with us, you know, because they wanted to play fast. Because that field is small, so there was already a fast play style. But I think when we started, it was just kind of a little bit of a culture shock for the milsim types because they were not used to people playing that fast. You know what I mean? So that's basically what it was. Like that was the shock of it.
Yeah, okay. Do you think it's getting better now?
I think so. You know, in the past 3 years, you know, I think especially in the United States, especially because with COVID and everything, you know, our team, we even started playing more milsim stuff too, because those events are what were going on during COVID, you know, and a lot of us actually like playing milsim.
Yeah.
So we decided years ago, like we're gonna do every part of the sport. You know, it's not just about SpeedQB or competition or just about sport, but it's about, you know, the culture, this entire culture, you know, and all of it's included.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times people forget that it's interchangeable, right? It's not just if you only play speedsoft or if you only play milsim.
Yeah, there's no rules to say that just because you're on this side, you can't be on this side.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like we're in a gang or anything, you know, like it's just a game. And like it's like when you play COD, you don't only play one mode, right? Like, I mean, that would get kind of boring. So you have to play your domination. You got to play hardpoint. You got to play team deathmatch. You can even go play co-op or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to keep it fresh, you know, and like that always changes too. You know, like that doesn't always have to stay the same, even in a sport context or in a game context. That can always evolve.
Right. Okay. So now that SpeedQB has expanded to the East Coast, what do you think is the difference that you have noticed between the West and the East Coast?
Equipment is one of the things I've come to learn, especially the fact that I am collaborating with a lot of guys that are on the East Coast. Like what I tell them about the market is completely different from what they tell me about the market. You know, in terms of like, and the West Coast, you know, we've had HPA guns since they came out. You know, and we've kind of gone through all the steps. We tried everything. We went through the whole DSG thing like a decade ago. You know, like, and that comes back and forth. But we've been there already. I think in LA, like we've run through every product. So we kind of tend to spend a lot of money on the best stuff only. Whereas like what I'm noticing on the East Coast, like maybe it's a slightly, it's just the budgeting is different. You know, maybe people in LA are just more, they spend more, you know, like more willing to just spend on nice things, you know, or, but on the East Coast, I've noticed that people use a lot more, like, for example, HPA engines. Out here, it's all Fusion engines. But over there, I heard it's like a lot of F2s and jacks, you know, because maybe the age, not everybody starts young, but maybe like they start very young there. And they all have G and G, so they kind of like build up through that route. You know what I'm saying? That makes any sense.
Okay, cool. What about play style wise, like the teams, players?
From what I've noticed, you know, obviously the West Coast has been doing it a little bit longer, so like there are a wider range of styles, whereas like the newer scenes, like, you know, East Coast, for example, I think everybody's trying to play this one style, but that's normal. It's not good or bad. It's just like in the beginning, everybody wants to get to a certain level, and that encourages a certain amount of like, it's almost like a rushed reaction to something. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Versus when they finally have time to slow down, that's when you'll see this team has a very specific style. This team is very different. You know what I'm saying? Like, whereas like, because I've seen it happen region to region, whether it's LA, whether it's, you know, from the very beginnings, if you trace it back to Oregon to Georgia, and then, you know, everywhere we've been, even to like when we're in Europe, you know, same thing. Like you see different, they take it, everybody takes it a different way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So what do you think makes a strong player or makes a strong team? What is the most essential element?
Strong player or team?
Let's go with player first.
I think a great player, it depends too, because like some people play certain roles, you know? Like there's always gonna be, like character design, for example, right? Like there's always gonna be the joker of the bunch, who plays a little bit more wild. There's the guy who is a little bit more calm and collected, and he's usually the one calling the plays. So like, depends on what your job is, you know? But I think there's a place in the field for everybody. You just kind of like got to figure out how that's the challenge, I guess. Of you have your individual players and they have their strengths, and then when it comes to the team, you have to figure out how to take all that and form one giant robot out of all those pieces.
Like a cohesive.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
You gotta Voltron that together.
Voltron, defender of the universe.
So
where do you see this league going in 10 years?
I mean, it's difficult to say, but I think...
where do you want it to go?
For me, I think I'd like to see a lot more tech involved, whether it be, without giving too many ideas away, of course, but like, you know, there's a lot of events out here where they use projected lighting in a very interesting way.
Projected lighting, what do you mean?
Like, for example, if the way that fields are lit right now is just like top-down fluorescent, right? And we're dealing with geometric shapes. Now, if you have like something like a stripe projected onto a geometric shape, it's gonna make the field look a little more interesting. Okay. You know, whether that be through projected lighting or like augmented reality, you know, or who knows, like in 10 years from now, we might have holograms. So who knows what you can do with stuff like that. Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't think like the gameplay outside of like how you score points, how you penalize people, those things are going to constantly evolve, just like any other sport. To this day, even baseball right now, there's so much cheating going on, but they're trying to like fix it right now, you know? even in basketball, you can argue that they're constantly changing the rules too.
Yeah.
What the game 10 years ago is not the game it was now. It is now. It was a lot more physical before. They would get away with more fouls. Now it's like more like it's a little softer.
Yeah.
People can't play as rough. So with every sport, it's gonna happen. The change is gonna come through rules, but like the way it looks, that's the variable. That's what's gonna be up to the people who are creating or behind the scenes.
Okay. And it's also an organic evolution, I guess, depending on the players, the community, and where they are and what they want.
Sure.
And what the organization.
Yeah, like what they vibe with culturally too. For example, video games. Like whatever attracts that crowd, will more than likely attract this crowd too. In terms of visuals, in terms of how a field can look, or how score is kept. For example, how time is kept. That can all be done very creatively. It's not always a scoreboard. It could be projected somewhere. It could be, who knows? A couple years from now, everybody can have that information on a heads up.
Yeah, heads up display. Yeah.
That'll be dope. And that's all tied. That vision is all tied into all these other visions that we have too. Like technology is really where I think is going to change the game.
And money.
Yeah,
it's gonna cost more money.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that kind of tech is not cheap, but we've always had the right people behind us.
Yeah.
And we get behind the right people, and it allows us to move forward.
Okay. All right. So, SAPO, would you like to use Chinese to say goodbye? 用中文跟大家说一下再见，说个你好，然后再见，打个招呼。
大家好，下一次我到台北的时候，我们会见面。And I'm gonna shoot you.
All right, cool, man. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.